Hey there, Soul Explorers. Today we're going to talk about what are spirit guides and how do you work with them. But first, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kira Siva. I'm a spiritual healer and guide, helping all of you beautiful souls on the path of spiritual awakening. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. It's delightful to have you here. And if you haven't yet done it, go ahead and click the subscribe button below and tippity tip tap that notification bell so you can be the first to know whenever I upload a new video. All right, let's jump in. What are spirit guides? Spirit guides can be our ancestors, animal totems, angels, and other beings who have mastered the lessons in the 3D that we're currently mastering. Our spirit guides are basically just beings that live in the spiritual realm. We have our main spirit guide team that journeys with us through life. They include your guardian angels and other main spirit guides that help you through your life path. Along the way, though, we can also encounter just specialty spirit guides. They basically come to help us with healing, protection, or to learn a specific life lesson. Your spirit guides root for you. They help keep you on track. They give you nudges to help you know which way to go, and they open up doors for you. They also provide you protection, and they're there for you, even when it doesn't seem like anybody else is around. Their ultimate aim is to help you fulfill your soul's journey through this life. So whatever you came here to learn, to understand, to master, to help you with your spiritual growth, they're there on your side, helping you get through it. How do you work with your spirit guides? The first part that we're going to talk about is about communication. So there's a couple of things that we first need to set as a base for this. Now, as humans, we use language. We have been taught to talk, to speak, and to listen. And if you're deaf or hard of hearing, you're taught to use sign language. So today, the first thing that we have to do with our concept of language is to expand it. Now, you might be comfortable that, you understand that communicating is talking and speaking and also body language. But when you are communicating with your spirit guides, you don't have the benefit of body language. So communicating, the essence of communicating is to be able to give and receive information and messages, to be able to understand it and to allow another to understand your message. And that's what we have to boil communication down to, because we're about to expand what communication can be. Now, this is probably the top thing that people struggle with when they are starting to work with their spirit guides, because there is an expectation that suddenly you're going to ask a question and immediately you're going to hear a voice and an answer in your head that gives you the answer to your question. And that's not how it works. Communication comes in all kinds of forms. It can feel like the intuition, like the gut feeling. You can have a body sensation somewhere on your body. Maybe your throat tightens up, or maybe you have a headache, that kind of thing. Communication can come through billboards, signs, the things other people say, synchronicities in your life. Communication can come through the songs on the radio. There's just a lot of different ways that spirit guides choose to communicate with us. And you can tell by all of these different things that I just shared, not a lot of them are always necessarily hearing a voice in your head, which is still entirely possible and does happen, but you have to be able to expand what your version or belief around communication is. Because the reality is, humans need language. Spirit doesn't need language. Spirit guides can also really share whole experiences with you in milliseconds by giving you a knowingness, a feeling. It's like you get an energetic imprint or impression of a huge concept or a whole event, and there aren't really any words to that. When you experience things like that, they can kind of come up to the mind and you give words to it to name everything, but at the beginning of it, it's really just like receiving an impression or a packet of energy. Clairsentience is the sixth sense that corresponds with this experience. And if you've been building your intuition, you have been getting some of these kinds of experiences already. So even if you're a beginner at intuition or very well advanced with it, just know that moment of knowing and feeling, that can often be your spirit guides communicating with you. Okay, let's talk about listening. So listening is a skill, a very, very undervalued skill, even though everybody loves a good listener in our society. We're going to take this concept of listening and expand upon it too. Now, most people aren't great listeners to begin with anyways, because we don't really learn it in school. There's not always a ton of great role models out there, and you can tell people that are the really good listeners because everyone talks to them. They don't often get a chance to speak, but everyone talks to them. The act of listening is a really cool space to be in, and one that you really need to learn to master in order to be able to communicate effectively and accurately with your spirit guides. So in your day-to-day life, if you want to experience the feeling of being able to receive, try out this in your day-to-day life. This is a part of active listening. So if you need to dive into it more, hit me up in the comments below, schedule a spiritual guidance session. I'd be happy to go over it more with you one-on-one. But really, in your day-to-day life, you are going to start to fully be present and listen to the people in front of you. You're going to take the ego out, you take the emotion out, and the desire to just come up with the answer to whatever you're listening to, the next thing that's going to be said, and you just be present. You become the observer. You become the auditory observer, and really you're observing the whole beingness of the person. Just start practicing this. Again, it's not really that hard, and once you practice it a few times, you're going to get really comfortable with it, and then that will strengthen your skill. So when you're with somebody and you're really listening to them, don't be on your phone, don't be thinking about your grocery list, don't be thinking about what to say next. Be really fully present and fully take in everything that they're saying. Fully listen to what they're saying. Once you have that feeling that you have inside is what listening is. Now we're going to take that experience of listening and expand out. When you go to listen for spirit communication, when you listen to your spirit guides, you're going to take that listening ability, the observer, the just taking in the information, understanding what is being said, listening deeper into beyond what is being said on the surface level. When you do this activity with people where you're doing the active listening, try to listen into people. Try to hear the message that is beyond the words. The number one block with people with that is that everybody gets stuck up on their own library of language. If you can move past words and get into the actual message, what is really trying to be conveyed to you, you can actually start to hear people in a much deeper way, in a really interesting way, and it adds a lot of cool depth to your life and ability to deeply connect with people, which is juicy and delicious and so good. So give that a shot. Okay, back to spirit guide communication. You're going to take that same skill of listening deeply with people, and you're going to do that when you are speaking with your spirit guides. Now remember, spirit guides don't always use words. Spirit guides don't always answer immediately. So you have to drop the expectation that you're going to be like that you have when you're sitting with someone and you're having a conversation and it's very back and forth, very back and forth. That's not how spirit guides and you communicate. Typically, it can be, but not necessarily that way. So when you go to ask a question, be prepared to be in that state of listening for a while. Drop your expectation of the timing on how long that's going to take. That's going to put you in a good state to receive. Now, a common roadblock at this conjunction is that people need the answers so badly. They need to hear the thing so much. that actually can put up a mental barrier and it can put up a block to being able to receive the information. The next step of that is to listen into your beingness. You are going to be quiet because your spirit guides are speaking to you. And they're going to speak to you through, like I said, that intuitive knowingness, getting, a packet of energy, feeling a nudge, feeling a sensation in your body. Maybe a word or a picture pops up in your mind. Maybe you have a feeling in your heart that comes through. Depending on what your stronger psychic abilities are, clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, all of those things are going to be pathways of communication for you. Once you've checked in with your body and checked in internally and you still kind of are getting like radio silence on everything, that's when you know it's time to drop it and to go do something else. Sometimes spirit needs to take time to answer our questions. Sometimes our spirit guides shouldn't be telling us the things because we, for whatever reason, have to learn something before, or we just have to let life play out a little bit before we can receive an answer to certain questions. If you ask a question and you don't feel like you're getting anything back, then go do something else and then be aware at points, completely drop it, but also just be a little aware if a certain song plays on the radio, if you see a billboard sign, if you see somebody else says a message to you, if there's a synchronicity that happens, just know that is your spirit guides communicating with you. And your spirit guides can work with you on a ton of things, everything from releasing your emotional baggage, because we all got that, healing past wounds and hurts, with your spiritual growth in general, helping you find the next information that you need to find, giving you loving and supporting messages, helping you find the right kind of jobs, which path to choose, which, avenue of, studies to go down, whether or not you should go here or there. Like, they can help you with all things in your life. Once you can get the communication part down of working with your spirit guides, that's really the key to working with them. I mean, you can work with them on every area of your life or specific areas of your life. They're your buddies and they're here to help you. And can you ever feel or sense your spirit guides? Yes. You know that feeling that you get if somebody was standing right behind you, but you didn't know they were right behind you, but there's like a little prickling to it, or there's just a sensation that someone's there, or like you're sleeping at night and someone walks into your room. There's a part of you that is alert to that. Feeling your spirit guides is very similar to that. Also, it can just feel like an impression. Like you think of them and then it's really, you feel like, oh, okay, I have a really strong connection to them right now, or you can feel just, there's like an impression that they are there with you. And that's really what you need if you're ever concerned about them not being around you. That's kind of the avenues that I've experienced anyways of feeling them. And if you don't feel them like really physically, don't worry about it. I don't feel my spirit guides in a certain way like most of the time, but I know they're there and we can communicate, and that's really the key important part to it. And that's it. And that's what you need to know about what are spirit guides and how to communicate with them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to click the subscribe button below and tippity tip tap that notification bell so you can be the first to know whenever I upload a new video. And if you are ever stuck, confused, or lost in your spiritual journey, I do offer spiritual guidance sessions. I will leave a link of it in the description box below. And until next time, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.